I have a caller on the line. She's calling from Tehran. You were raised in England and went back to Tehran when you were about 18. You met a fellow there and that you've been in a relationship with him for some time, and you got to the point of having an engagement and an engagement party.
We got married through the registry, which in the Farsi is act. We don't actually have the wedding ceremony as to this date, but we are legally married. I came to Tehran January, and as of January, he's been really cold towards me. 3-4 months ago, over the phone, he would say, I'm in love with you, and now he's saying the meaning of love is totally different. It has a totally different meaning to me. Love that I understand is only from me to God. I only said that I'm in love with you. I love you, but I'm not in love with you. It's like a completely different person. And I was like, what are you talking about? This is all new to me. And he was very different. He was very cold. So I was totally sort of shocked to see him act this so cold towards me. And I said, look, just be honest with me. And he was like, yeah, I'm not in love with you anymore. When you used to come and visit me, you wouldn't listen to me. You dress how you want to, dress. You wear too much makeup. And you knew how I was. You saw how I was brought up in London. How do I make him believe that I want this marriage to work and for him to have the same feelings
You can't.
he had earlier that way, when we met?
You can't. You can't change him. You can't make him anything. And he's trying to change you and make you something that you are not. He's holding your love hostage. I'm sure he's got a lot of fine qualities about him. I'm sure that he's a fine man. However, the love is not reciprocal. And he said so. And when you told me the reasons why he said that, because you didn't dress the way he wanted you to dress, because you wore makeup, I'm sorry, he's trying to make you into a woman like he wants you to be, that fits inside of his traditions and his styles and his belief system. So he's not married to you, he's married to his religion. Do you want to be married to his religion?
No.
That's the only choice he is giving you. Do you understand that?
I do.
All right, so take it as a lesson learned. You're still young and beautiful. Get the heck out of there. And anybody that would trade living in a free country to living in a country where women are suppressed, there's got to be something a little off there. And you may call it love. I don't call it love. Love is where you stand for somebody being all that they could possibly be, and you empower them to have their full self-expression, full communication. You love and adore them exactly the way they are. That is not what you've got here. Either way, you don't love him like he is, because you're asking me, how can I change him and make him believe something that he doesn't believe and feel something that he doesn't feel? The answer is you cannot. You can't. People feel what they feel, and what they feel is non-negotiable. Beliefs may be negotiable, but you got to be very, very good at what you're doing. You have to get up inside. Why did they get that belief in the first place? It's advanced technology, and I doubt that you're trained in that. Yeah, he needs to find a nice girl who already wears no makeup, not one that's been raised in England and has become a cosmopolitan woman. Go find yourself a guy that loves you the way you are, so that you don't have to change and be somebody you're not. And certainly so that you don't have to be imprisoned, really, in a country where, if you decided to get a divorce, he gets everything, including the kids, and you get nothing, even if you worked and earned it. Am I right?
Yeah, I'm trying really hard to fit into his culture. I was brought up in a very cultured family. I do feel now half British. Again, he knew that from the beginning. I didn't hide anything. I didn't change. I was who I was.
He changed back to how he had always been. It's called bait and switch. It's where you show something, but there's a hook. Here's the pretty thing. I'm selling candy over here. Do you want some? And then there's a hook in the back. He just changed back to how he's always been anyhow. And then he expected you to change too. Now that you're married, he feels like he owns you, and he ought to be able to tell you how to act. However, you're the one that's asking for help. And my biggest advice to you is run the other way. Not just run away, because you will just find some other guy who wants you to change and try to please him, and then try to convince him that you're trying to do everything you can to make it work. The real question here is, why are you doing that? Why are you trying to convince somebody that you're doing everything you can to make it work? Why don't you have men that are trying to do everything they can to make it work for you? There's an interesting question for you. It's the natural flow of nature. On the level of an egg and a sperm, the egg simply comes out, radiates light and life and possibility, and millions of sperm race over and kill each other to try to get there to be the one. So in nature, the masculine energy is actually expendable. Women are sacred and precious and should be treated as such. And so if anybody's going to change or knock themselves out to be all that they could be so that they are deserving of the gracious presence of the other, I would prefer to see the man knocking himself out so he could be with the woman. When you see a woman knocking herself out so that she can be with a man, the flow of nature is going in the opposite direction. In every species, the male of the species is putting on displays to try to deserve being chosen by the female. Isn't that so?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You don't see in nature a woman all trying to get the guy to come and mate with her. And the guy's like, well, maybe if you change yourself a little, we'll see. That's against the flow of nature. That's why I'm asking you this question. Why don't you have guys flowing towards you in your direction that you feel like you got to go chase some guy that's not only being cold and indifferent, is expecting you to dress differently and act differently and be different than who you are. If you're calling to ask me for advice, I'm saying get the heck away from there. When I see a woman from a free country wanting to go live in a suppressive country under a suppressive regime and marry a suppressive guy that wants to suppress her, I'm like, what's the matter with you? Snap out of it.
It's so difficult because I'm so emotionally attached to him.
He's your addiction. Some people are addicted to food, some are addicted to cigarettes, some are addicted to heroin. You're addicted to this guy. You know it's not good for you. Just like if it was alcohol or drugs, you know it's not good for you. You know that it'll cause you to be less than who you really are. In other words, it'll kill you off little by little until you're finally dead, inside or out. And yet you feel compelled and you must have it. That's an addiction. That's what addiction looks like. And this is an intervention. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You called all the way from Tehran to hear this. Something in you had you pick up the phone because something in you knows that you're heading in a direction that's not going to turn out. It is never going to turn out with your happiness in that situation. I've heard this same story over and over again, and it never turns out.
Yeah.
If you've got your freedom, look, you got citizenship in another country, you're divorced, you're just having a little remorse like self-doubt right now. And that same self-doubt that would have you question whether or not the divorce was the right thing is the same self-doubt that had you go over there and marry this guy in the first place. Don't doubt yourself. Always go towards that which has the most freedom, the most opportunity, the most choices, the most ability to expand oneself and discover oneself. Always move towards that. That's something worth being nervous about. That's something worth being afraid of. That's something worth failing at. You know, if you go out in the world and try to be fully self-expressed and live your fullest and have the best possible life possible, you could fail at that. You could fall down a few times and get back up, but it would be worth it, wouldn't it? But if you go fail at this isn't even worth failing at. It's not even worth it.
I need you here every single day saying these things to me so I can just go through with it.
And we can talk on Skype. I'll yell at you every day, okay? All right?
Thank you so much, Mr. Morgan.
Yeah.
I do appreciate it.
Thanks for your courage. I know that you hung in there even though I was kind of being a little hard on you. It's because I really care about you.
Thank you. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye-bye.